Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good afternoon, everybody. This afternoon, I like to speak for a few minutes and then let you ask me questions. I might speak for at least 30 minutes, and the next 30 minutes you can ask me questions if you have any. So you have to listen very carefully to frame your questions. Buddhist meditation has two parts. One is called tranquility meditation, the other is called insight meditation. Tranquility meditation is called samatha bhavana. Insight meditation is called vipassana bhavana. So you might wonder what the difference between these two is. Tranquility meditation focuses on concentration. Insight meditation focuses on insight, wisdom. These two aspects of Buddhist meditation, also known as Chitta Bhavana and Panya Bhavana. Chitta Bhavana means cultivating the mind. Panya Bhavana means cultivating wisdom. Now we have in ourselves the potential for both, to cultivate the mind, to gain concentration, and to cultivate wisdom, to liberate ourselves from suffering. This mind, let me spend a few minutes explaining what concentration meditation is, and then I explain what vipassana or insight meditation is. According to the Buddha's teaching, our mind is luminous. He said it very clearly in Pali language. Abhasaramidam bhikkhave chittam tanchako agantukehi upakkilesehi upakkilittang tang asutava putujjano napajanati tasma asutavassa putujjanassa chitta bhavana nama nati. This means bhikkhus, he addressed the monks, who were his closest disciples, who were with them most of the time. When he, on his own, delivered a sermon, he addressed these closest disciples, monks, and said, bhikkhus, bhikkhu means monastic like us. Because this mind is luminous, but it becomes defiled by adventitious defilements. Naturally, the mind is luminous. It becomes polluted from external pollutions. An ordinary person who does not know the Dhamma, who does not associate with the right person, who does not pay attention to the teaching of the right person, who does not associate with a noble person, one who knows the Dhamma, does not know this. Since he does not know this, he does not cultivate the mind. He does not know how to remove these adventitious defilements to get to reach luminous state of mind. Friends, luminosity does not mean 100% pure or clean. Since it has potential within itself, impurities or defilements attract defilements. Since the mind has, though it is luminous, it also has the potential of pollution. That is why it becomes polluted. If it is totally pure and clean, it will never become polluted. So luminous does not mean totally pure and clean. It has the seed or possibility of becoming defiled. So ordinary people do not know this, therefore they don't make any attempt to remove these adventitious defilements. And in order to do that, they have to cultivate the mind to gain concentration. The way to remove the defilement, there are 3 ways. They are explained in Pali. One is called tadanga pahana, temporary removal by when we cultivate one wholesome mental state, the opposite of it subsides, fades away. That is called tad anga. It's one-to-one, one limb, one aspect cultivated, another aspect fades away. For instance, when we cultivate the thought of friendliness, anger or hatred fades away at that time. When we cultivate the thought of compassion, the thought of cruelty fades away at that time. When we cultivate appreciative joy, jealousy fades away at that time. Likewise, when we cultivate generosity, greed fades away from our mind at that time. We can do that. That is called removal by factors, factorial removal of. Another way of removing defilements, also temporary, is called temporary suppression, vikambana pahana, temporary suppression. For instance, we practice one particular concentration meditation is called jhana, jhana meditation. Jhana means consolidation of wholesome mental factors is called jhana. Unification of all wholesome mental states, mental factors is called jhana in general. There are 8 of them, 8 stages, 8 steps. When we cultivate the first level of jhanas, first step or first group, we overcome 5 hindrances. They are desire for sensual pleasures, anger, restlessness and worry, doubt, and sleepiness and drowsiness. These are what we call 5 hindrances. We suppress them during the practice of, or during the time we stay in jhana. And if we stay in jhana for 1 hour, during that time these hindrances will not bother us, trouble us. Instead, during that time, our mind will be filled with the thought of letting go, thought of compassion, thought of cruelty fade away, thought of compassion will dominate the mind, loving friendliness dominates the mind, sleepiness and drowsiness fades away, we are fully awake, that dominates the mind. Instead of restlessness and worry, we experience a great deal of joy, happiness, and so forth. These, instead of hindrances, they are opposite 5 factors, will work together in unison as a team. As long as these wholesome mental factors work together as a unit, as a team, these unwholesome mental factors called hindrances will be suppressed. Wholesome mental factors hold unwholesome mental factors at bay. And that is called temporary suppression. Suppression does not mean anything negative. What it means is cultivating wholesome mental factors during that time. Then there is another kind of abandoning that is called samucceda pahana. Samucceda means completely, totally uprooting these mental defilements forever and never to return again. So that is little long way to go. We at least can start from the beginning, and at least we can try to remove them temporarily, suppress them, attain what is called jhana, that is called concentration meditation. And concentration meditation also has 2 aspects. One is right concentration, other is wrong concentration. When you gain wrong concentration, you also have certain degree of joy, pleasure, tranquility, but mostly you feel as if you are sucked into the subject. People call it you become one with the subject, one with the object. Once you become one with the object, you don't know anything. You are just like sleeping. People think that's a good concentration. So they sit on the cushion, spend 1 hour, but their body is moving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And when we ring the bell, they get up and say, I had 4 jhana. I reached highest jhana. What they have done during that whole time was having a very good sleep. And they attribute it to jhana. That's a wrong jhana. We actually, that state is not really qualified to be called jhana. don't look forward to that. You can have it at night, every night, when you go to bed. But when you sit on the cushion, this is one thing you have to overcome. Keep yourself fully alert, awake, and mindful. So the mindfulness is an important factor of right concentration. Not only mindfulness, all the other 7 steps of the Noble Eightfold Path support right concentration. I believe you all know what the Noble Eightfold Path is. Is there anybody who does not know? You don't know? Yeah, don't be bashful to admit if you don't know. Say no. Very good. Anybody else? 3? Good. This side? Yes. Very good. That is how we learn. We admit what we don't know. We admit what we know. Noble Eightfold Path, I am not going to give a long talk on that. I have written a book on that. So I just have to mention the name. Say, right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So when we talk about right concentration, this right concentration is supported by the other 7 steps. It is supported by right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, and right mindfulness. These 7 steps must support right concentration. If the concentration is not supported by these 7, it by definition is not right concentration. Okay? Very easy to remember the difference between wrong concentration and right concentration. As soon as you sat on the cushion, everything is comfortable, cushion is comfortable, the temperature is good, nobody is making any noise, nobody disturbs you, and you also have a tummy full of food, and you sat on the cushion. In 10 minutes you can attain jhana and stay the rest of the time on the cushion, and that is not right concentration. That is that kind of concentration you gain when you go to bed. Jhana. Now, when we develop our mind, our concentration in a proper way, correct way, luminous mind becomes really open to us. When you gain concentration, you will see a very, very bright light. Don't try to imagine this light. It must appear by itself when the path becomes clear, when the hindrances are removed, as you are treading the right path, you will come to a state where you experience a very tiny little bright spark of light. That is what is called sign of concentration. Next moment you gain true concentration, then the mind becomes, the luminosity in the mind opens. The door to luminosity opens. Then the mind becomes really bright and luminous. No hindrances would be there. Until such time, you have to practice very mindfully. And that time, adventitious defilements temporarily, as long as you are in that jhanic stage, will no longer be there. That is, in short, in summary, concentration meditation. I explained, gave it in a nutshell. The explanation is given in a book, this size big book, about 800-page book, where concentration meditation is explained in great detail. So if anybody is interested, read that book called Visuddhi Magga, Path of Purification. You read that book. Now, other aspect of meditation called vipassana meditation. Now, this is concentration, right concentration meditation is within the Noble Eightfold Path. And vipassana meditation also is in the Noble Eightfold Path. That is the interesting thing. Now what is vipassana? Vipassana is seeing in a very special way. What is the special way? Is there any special lens or glass to wear to see things in a special way? Don't we see things when we open our eyes, if the eyesight is good? Don't we see objects right in front of us? We do see objects. But that is not a special way of seeing. The special way is, this is not actually a joke, but this is very serious. In order to see something in this way, in this meditation, to see in a special way, you got to close your eyes. When you open your eyes, you don't see such special way, you see ordinary way. When you see with open, closed eyes, you see wisdom eye. Wisdom eye opens. Now what do we see in this very special way? And how can we see things in a special way? The special way is the way that not ordinarily we see things. Our practice of vipassana meditation is to gain insight to see things exactly as they are. To see things exactly as they are. What are the things and how we see them exactly as they are? We normally see so many trillions of things everywhere we open our eyes, whenever we open our eyes, we see so many things. But these are not actually the things that we try to see in vipassana meditation. Things here means, remember this, things here is seeing the body, feelings, perceptions, thoughts and consciousness exactly as they are. Friends, all our problems, all our sufferings, all our misunderstanding comes from not understanding these 5, what we call groups. We call aggregates. These are called 5 aggregates: form, feeling, perception, thought and consciousness. We do not see them exactly as they are. We see them superficially. For instance, when you open our eyes, we see all kind of things, colors, shape, size, height, and so forth and so on. All superficial things we see. But we do not see they are in a very real way, exactly as they are. All existing things, friends, have their own intrinsic nature. What is the intrinsic nature? Nature that belongs to itself, not acquired nature, not artificial. What is it? What is intrinsic in our body? This body is neither beautiful nor ugly, but it is impermanent entity. It is changing. Body is changing. Friends, this is the truth. From the moment we were conceived in our mother's wombs, we were changing. Physically we were changing. And that is how we are like this, big people. And you are not going to be like this. You one day will be like me. No hair, wrinkled face, poor eyesight, wobbling walking, hunchback, not good memory, no good appetite. So many things that you have right now, you will not have when you come to my age. We have to remember this. Now, not only remembering it, we have to think every time we meditate, we pay attention to what we experience. Buddha said, Atthikayoti vapanassa sati pachupattita hoti yavadeva jnanamattaya pati satimattaya anissitocha viharati. Because this body exists for us to gain knowledge and vision. Knowledge and vision. Not for anything else. The body exists for us to gain knowledge and vision. What is the knowledge? What is the vision? Knowledge is that this body has so many components in it. It is made up of other elements, basic earth, water, air, fire elements. Earth, water, air, fire elements. And this body is made up of these four elements, and we maintain these four elements putting nutriments which we use every day. We repeat this again and again. Everything in our life we repeat. Why? Because we have to replace what we lose. Repetition simply means we want to replace how many times we eat, how many times we drink, how many times we recreate. All this, at least eating and drinking, we have to do every day in order to replace what we lose. Losing something means they are impermanent. Friends, this is the truth, this is the knowledge. And then insight is seeing this happening. But I said mindfulness, vipassana means seeing in a very special way. Seeing impermanence happening to us. Not only knowledge. Knowledge you can gain from books. by listening to a talk, discussions, and the whole world is filled with information. You can download in a split second, go to internet and download anything and read anything and learn, gain knowledge. Libraries are full of books. Universities are full of information. These are, we acquire, these are the knowledge. We learn all these things in biology, anatomy, physics, chemistry and so forth. These are knowledge. Insight is something different. Insight is experiencing impermanence in our personal life. So, Buddha said this body exists for us to gain this insight, this knowledge, and also this insight. Insight is the experience of impermanence as it is happening. In Pali it's called Udayabbe Jnana. Insight, gaining by seeing, rising and falling. Now let me give you an example. We breathe. Why we breathe so many times? Because one breath is not enough. Once it has done its job, exchanging oxygen with carbon dioxide, it goes away. And we have to breathe again and again and again. Every time we breathe, we feel the breath. We feel the breath doing something. And then we breathe again. So we feel the breathing. The feeling is changing. And we mentally perceive the breath. That perception changes. We intentionally pay attention to the breath. That intention and attention also changes. Our consciousness, as we are breathing in and out, we are consciously doing it, and that consciousness also is changing. So we experience impermanence in our body. Breath itself is a part of body. It's called sometimes breath body. We experience feeling, impermanence of our feeling. We experience impermanence of our perception, impermanence of our thought, and impermanence of our consciousness. So, this is how we see impermanence from our own personal experience. The body exists for us to see this exactly as it is. And because of this continuous repetitive change, things are changing, impermanent. Things in our body, every part of our body is changing. And every part of our body is impermanent. Everything is impermanent. And we experience at least some of them through our breathing. And this body, when we look at it superficially, it looks like some solid object. But this is not actually that solid. So Buddha called the body is called form, in Pali form, in Pali called rupa, translated into English as form. This F-O-R-M form, Buddha compared to F-O-A-M form. F-O-R-M compared to F-O-A-M form. When you look at the collection of bubbles, it gives an appearance of a form. It looks like a solid something. You can even take pictures. But after sometimes when something drops on the form, or wind blows, or big gush of water hits, it breaks into nothing, it disappears. This is exactly what we experience in meditation. Don't try to disappear yourself very quickly in meditation by imagining. But in reality, this is what is happening to this body. It is happening all the time. That is why these beautiful bodies will become old, fall sick, become weak, lose strength. Why? Things are changing all the time. So this body is there for us to learn this lesson, gain this insight. What is the use of that? Gaining that insight, so that we do not try to cling to it. Anissitocha viharati, nacha kinchu loke upadhyati. When we understand this, when we gain this insight, we don't try to stop what is happening, thinking that this is something permanent. So when we fall sick, we don't become very depressed. Why? We anticipate that health is something impermanent. Things are changing, so we fall sick. When we fall sick, we should not be depressed, also because we have fallen sick before and we got well. Sickness is not permanent. Even sickness is impermanent. Sometimes we are very sad. Sadness is not permanent. Sadness is impermanent. Sometimes we are full of joy. That is not permanent. That is impermanent. So, when we see this pattern, this reality, we mature, we grow spiritually. And also we live this life in a more meaningful way. We all want to live a happy life, we want to enjoy, but while enjoying, we also must understand that we have to do something more than enjoyment, something more meaningful. That is, we try to develop our mind, and this body exists for us to gain knowledge and insight, and that is how we use the body to develop vipassana. The body we use to cultivate vipassana, mind we cultivate to gain concentration. But these two things are not two different things. These two things, although when we explain they are two, but eventually these two work together in order to reach the goal. What is the goal? Goal is to liberate ourselves from suffering. Suffering. What is suffering? It is not aches and pains. Suffering is, this is very important to remember. Suffering is insatiability of our desire. It cannot satisfy it. no matter how hard we try. This insatiability of desire is called suffering. No matter how much we try to gain, how much we gain, how much we try to satisfy our desire, desire can never be satisfied. I tell you an example. I mean, I don't have to tell example, you know it already. But just to make it even more tangible, more perceptible, let me give you an example. Suppose you have a big house, 10,000 square feet house. There is a little leak of the roof. And there is a rain. At one night you go to sleep, and that night there was a rain. And this rain happened to be gold. Every drop of rain was gold. When it came to your house, inside, this drop of gold, little by little accumulates, and next morning you wake up, this 10,000 square feet house is filled with gold from top to bottom. Every tiny little nook and corner, every inch is covered with gold. This gold, you cannot finish yourself. You have 10 members in the family. Even all the 10 members try to use this gold, they cannot finish it. Not even for 7 generations can you finish this gold. So much gold. When you wake up in the morning, seeing all this gold, you may think, gee, how nice if I had a bigger house. You never say, boy, how can I use all this gold? I don't need any more. You never say that. You say, how nice if I had a bigger house. That is the nature of desire. Na kahapana vasena, Buddha said, na kahapana vasena titti kamesu vijjati appasada dukha kama iti vinyaya pandito api dibbesu kamesu natinso radhigacchati. Even if he have that much gold, he will never be satisfied. So this insatiability of desire is called suffering. Now, when we practice meditation, especially vipassana meditation, we see this and we learn. We learn to accept the reality and go along with the reality. This does not mean that we should not earn, we should not have wealth. So long as we live, we have to have wealth to make our life comfortable. But at the same time, we must understand that this is the nature of desire. And it applies to everything, including our own body and mind. So friends, I think I overstepped my boundary. I said I would speak only 30 minutes. I have gone beyond that. Now I like to stop and I think you have about 10 minutes to ask questions. Stop here. I believe you have some questions. Yes. Yes. Okay. Sure. When you have wrong concentration, in the first place, you have to understand that this is wrong, this is not what I want. For instance, when you have wrong concentration, you don't actually know anything. You are just like like deep sleep. And that is how some people define concentration. It is just like deep sleep or dreamless sleep and so forth. So you have to have a little bit of insight to understand that I am not practicing right concentration. Then you start all over again. You start from your object of meditation. In case of breath, we use the breath. When we focus our mind on the breath, as the breath becomes, gross breath becomes subtle, and it becomes subtler and subtler and subtler and subtler. And you come to a stage where even you don't feel the breath. And that time everything, as I mentioned earlier, is comfortable. You feel sleepy. And the sleepiness is very sweet. You feel very easily getting sucked into sleepiness. You don't want to get out of it. Why? Because it is so pleasing, so enticing. So you let it happen. At that time, you immediately realize that I am leading to wrong concentration. This is not meditation, this is not concentration, this is exactly sleep. So what you have to do, you have to get rid of, this is one of the hindrances. Then you have to do several things. One, open your eyes, roll your eyeballs, and close again and start focusing your mind on the breath. Even before that, when you feel the breath is disappearing and the sleepiness is appearing, then you take a deep breath and hold it. Hold it as long as you can, and then slowly breathe out. Again breathe in, hold it, and slowly breathe out. Again breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and hold it, and slowly breathe out. When you do this exercise, what you call holding breath exercise for several times, you do it only at that time. Holding breath you do only when you are sleepy. When you do it several times, your body warms up, you even perspire, your sleepiness disappears. That is one way. Another thing is, in order to understand this sleepiness, you have to be mindful. So for the right concentration, mindfulness is absolutely necessary. From the very beginning, preparatory stage onward, there must be sati sampajanya. Mindfulness and clear understanding must be there. So when we come to sleepiness, you have right understanding. You have clearly comprehended, understood it, and then get rid of sleepiness. This is using one of these methods. This is one method. Second is open your eyes and roll your eyeballs, and then close again. Try to focus your mind on it. If that doesn't work, you pinch your earlobes with both thumbs and index finger. Pinch earlobes hard enough to feel the pinch, which wakes you up. It works. If it doesn't work, you stand up. Stand up and do standing meditation. If that doesn't work, walk. Do walking meditation. Then come back and sit down. If that doesn't work, wash your face with cold water. If that doesn't work, come and sit and visualize very bright light. When the bright light is visualized pure, you will be very widely awake. If none of these things works, go and have a nap. That really works. So we had to find out a way to get rid of sleepiness in order to go back to right concentration. So then you have to start from the beginning, understanding, thinking and so forth. Then you come back to your practice, you will be in a very good shape. Okay, any other question? Okay. If you don't have any question, you can have a 5 minutes break and have your meditation, and you may try the things that I mentioned in my talk. Okay? Okay.